Hi, I'm Miss Lovelady and I teach 3rd grade ELA at Sally Humble Elementary School. Today we're going to continue with our unit, The Stories Julian Tells, and we are on Lesson 9, My Librarian is a Camel, and we're going to be talking about main idea. So today we're going to read a couple chapters from this book called My Librarian is a Camel, and we're going to identify key details and main ideas, and we're also going to research various countries and their libraries. So I want you to listen while I read the chapter Australia. And I also want you to know that this is kind of a funny name for this book, My Librarian is a Camel. But what it is, it's an informational text, which means this book is nonfiction. It's giving information. So we're going to be looking at some different things. So in America, our libraries are buildings most of the time. You're probably familiar with something you can walk into. You might have a library at your school, so things like that. So that's what we think of when we think of libraries. So we're going to see how other countries have different libraries. So while we're reading, I want you to listen for some key details about where the library travels, the kind of library, what's it look like, what is it, maybe some details about that, and how children respond to the books. All right, let's get started reading our first chapter about Australia. So My Librarian is a Camel, how books are brought to children around the world. Okay, so this is about Australia. In Australia, there are more than 5,000 libraries. About 72 of these libraries are on wheels. Some mobile libraries cover the Gold Coast, a strip of beaches in the state of Queensland that runs north from the border with New South Wales toward Brisbane, the state capital. Huge trucks and trailers carry thousands of books to children who cannot go to a library in a city. Travis, a librarian, travels on one of the trucks. He stops at schools to talk about books and to tell stories. Some stories leave children with something to think about, says Travis. Others bring laughter or tears. Stories can get kids excited about books and reading so they can borrow lots of books. The mobile library that Travis runs is more than a truck. It is a solar-powered high-tech library. The solar panel is on the top of the truck. Inside are 6 computers and a printer powered by a UPS, an uninterrupted power supply unit, which is charged from a bank of batteries. The truck comes with 3 air conditioning units, 2 banks of fluorescent lights, 9 spotlights, and a stereo system with surround sound. It also features a wheelchair lift, a microwave oven, a small refrigerator, a toilet, and 2 sinks. All of these units are powered by a bank of constantly recharging batteries. The solar panel provides a small current to the batteries that keeps them alive and running. So over here on the right, we're going to look at our little sidebar. So this is some information about the country. Commonwealth of Australia. The capital is Canberra. The estimated population is 20 million. The smallest continent in the world, Australia lies southeast of Asia. Because the continent is in the southern hemisphere, the seasons are opposite to those in the northern hemisphere. Summer begins on December 1st. Winter begins on June 1st. So that's completely opposite of what we do. So that's kind of funny. Their summer begins on December 1st. So they're hot while we're cold. The official language is English, but there are also hundreds of Aboriginal languages spoken, the languages of Australia's native people. And then we're going to look down here at the bottom and read the caption. So this is a photograph of Australian readers borrow books from their solar-powered library truck. All right, so I hope you looked at some key details here, and we're going to talk about main idea and key details. So let's define that first. So a main idea is the most important thought about a topic. What was this text mainly about? So as we read the chapter Australia, what was the text mainly about? I always say if your friend wasn't at school yesterday and you had to tell them what it was about, you wouldn't open the book and start reading it to them. You would just give them a few sentences. You kind of give them the gist of what's happening. So that's what the main idea is. What is the most important part? And then we have the key details. So your key details lead you to your main idea. So those are words or phrases that give us important information. So these are small key details, and they lead us to the big main idea. So we're going to use this information to fill out a chart about Australia. So this is a graphic organizer. So we put the name of our country at the top, Australia. Main idea and details chart, which we just defined. So we're going to fill out each one of these sections with key details, and then we're going to look at the details that we had and bring them all together to make the main idea. All right, so let's start with Australia. We want to look at key details about where the library travels. So I like this chart because it splits it up. I didn't just ask what's the main idea of this chapter. We're going to take little parts and then put them together. So let's look for key details about where the library travels, and we're going to put it there. So here's the text. Can you look at this and see where did the library travel to? We know that it's a big truck, so it can travel. All right, right here it says, some mobile libraries cover the Gold Coast, a strip of beaches in the state of Queensland that runs north from the border with New South Wales toward Brisbane, the state capital. Okay, so that tells us exactly where the library travels to. So we're going to put that information in our chart. The library truck travels to strips of beaches to children who can't travel to cities for libraries. So we got that straight from the text. All right, the next key detail we're going to find is right here. Key details that describe the library. What did the library look like? What was the library exactly? So we're going to look back in our text. Do you see anything here in our text that described what the library looked like? Good. This is what I came up with right here. The mobile library, we know mobile means to move around. So our local library is not mobile. It's a building that we go to. So it says, the mobile library that Travis runs is more than a truck. It's a solar-powered high-tech library. The solar panel is on the top of the truck. Inside are 6 computers and a printer powered by a UPS unit, which is charged from a bank of batteries. So that gives us a good idea of what does the library look like. So we're going to put that right there in our key details that describe the library. Lots of semi-trucks carry books. The trucks have lots of technology inside powered by a solar power. So it said that it had a lot of computers and you could plug in your refrigerator and that type of deal. So that's where we come with lots of technology. All right, the next key detail that we're going to look at is how the readers respond. Did the readers, which in this case was the children, did they like that they could go to the mobile library, that the library came to them? Did they attend? Did they come to it when it came into town? Or did they just not care at all? So let's look back in our text and see if we can figure out, how did the readers respond? All right, so right here it says, some stories leave children with something to think about. Travis says, others bring laughter or tears. Stories can get kids excited about books and reading, so they borrow lots of books. So right here we know that the kids are excited. And then we can also prove it here in the photograph. These kids, their facial expressions, they're smiling, so they're excited. So that's what we're going to put in key details about how the reader responds. The children get excited about reading the different kinds of books. And I didn't just make this up, I pulled it right from the text. Our next box is the key details about the country. So we're talking about Australia. So let's look. This sidebar right here is where we're going to get that information from. And I would just like to put, 1 or 2 things just about the country. So anything right here, it says the smallest continent in the world. Australia lies southeast of Asia. Because the continent is in the southern hemisphere, the seasons are opposite to those in the northern hemisphere. Summer begins on December 1st. Winter begins on June 1st. The official language is English, but there are also hundreds of Aboriginal languages spoken, the languages of Australia's native people. So any facts about the country are right here. So it's the Commonwealth of Australia, the capital, the estimated population. So we can put this information right here, key details about the country, not about the library. These 3 are about the library. This is about the country. So I put it's the smallest continent. It has opposite seasons from the northern hemisphere. All right, so being reading detectives, we have got lots of key details about Australia and their libraries. Where the library travels, what the library looks like, how do people respond to it, and here's a little bit about the country. So now we're going to take all these and form a 1-sentence main idea. What was the whole chapter basically about? Can we sum it up in 1 sentence? So I took these and this is what I got. Australian children who can't travel to big city libraries received their books from solar-powered semi-truck libraries. So it's got all of this information in that one sentence. So this is what I like to say. If your friend was absent yesterday when we read the chapter about Australia, this is what you might tell him. Just the whole thing wrapped up in a pretty package. All right, so we're going to keep moving forward. Now we're going to read a chapter about Thailand. So in this book, there's lots of different countries. Mongolia, I know Indonesia, I know Kenya's in here. So I just chose one that I thought was interesting. So what I chose was Thailand. So let's read about Thailand's library. In Amkhoi, a region of northern Thailand, there are no schools or libraries. Tribal people cannot read or write. The government of Thailand hopes to change that with a literacy program that includes bringing books to remote villages in the jungle. So already I want you to use your prior knowledge and think about, how is this area in Thailand different from where you live? Well, already I see I don't live in the jungle, so this is where they are. So think about that, and you can use the illustrations, the photographs to help you. A number of these villages can be reached only on foot. This makes transportation difficult, especially during the rainy season. How do you get books to people who need them most when they live in hard-to-reach mountainous regions of northern Thailand? Elephants. So that's pretty cool. And as you can see, these illustrations over here, there's an elephant, there's some more elephants. And these are photographs. These are actual photographs. We're going to read this caption. The elephant library is headed for remote villages in northern Thailand. All right, on the next page. The Chiang Mai Non-Formal Education Center had the idea to use elephants as libraries. Elephants are already being used here to plow the paddy fields and to carry logs and crops. Now, more than 20 elephants in the Amkhoi region are used to carry books. The elephant teams spend 2 to 3 days in each village. Each trip covers 7 or 8 villages, so it takes each elephant team 18 to 20 days to complete a round trip. So if you compare that to how we are with our libraries, we just get in the car, go to the library, spend a little time, go home. We're home in, an hour, 2 hours? Well, they're spending 18 to 20 days. So getting books to these remote villages are very important to these people. The Books by Elephant delivery program serves 37 villages, providing education for almost 2,000 people in the Amkhoi region. They have even designed special metal slates that won't break when carried on the elephants' backs across the rough terrain. These slates are used to teach Thai children to write and read. There are also 2-person teams carrying books to about 16 villages, bringing learning materials to another 600 people. In Bangkok, the capital of Thailand, old train carriages have been transformed into a library. The train is called Hong Rotphoi Yowakan, which means library train for young people. The train serves the homeless children of Bangkok. The Railway Police Division in Bangkok realized there was a need for a safe place for street children, so they refurbished the old train carriages at the railway station, where many of the kids were hanging out. The police restored the trains to their old glory, complete with wood paneling and shining copper light fixtures. They turned the railway cars into a library and a classroom. Here the children learned to read and write. The police have even transformed the area around the train into a garden where they grow herbs and vegetables. And now we're going to read the sidebar over here. So the capital of Thailand is, Kingdom of Thailand. The capital is Bangkok. The estimated population is around 62 million. So Thailand, which means the land of the free, lies in Southeast Asia. The climate varies from season to season, dry in January and February, hot in March and May, wet from June to October, and cool in November and December. The official language of the country is Thai. So that's a lot of information. That's why we call this an informational text. You are just receiving lots of true information about the country that we're looking at. All right, so now we're going to fill out a chart about Thailand, just like we did with Australia. So the same thing, we've got our key details that we're going to look up, and all of these key details are going to lead us to the main idea. What was the whole chapter about? What did we learn about Thailand? All right, so the first key detail we're going to look at and go back in our text with is the key detail about where the library travels. So let's go back in our text and see, where does the library go to? Let's see. Very good. See, Thailand hopes to change that with a literacy program that includes bringing books to remote villages in the jungle. So we're going to put that on our chart. Remote villages in the jungle. Now, because this is a chart, you don't have to use, well, in my classroom, we don't have to use complete sentences for our chart. And when we go to our main idea, that will be a complete sentence. But when we're just putting the notes down, we can just kind of do shorthand, some note taking. All right. So now let's look at key details that describe the library. What does the library look like? What is the library? I bet you already know this one. So right here, it says, how do you get books to these people? It says elephants. You can see the pictures of the elephants. It also says up here, this education center had the idea to use elephants as libraries. And this whole paragraph talks about how they use the library. And then we have lots of photographs that prove that as well. So, describe the library. Elephants carry the books. Their library is an elephant. All right, key details about how the readers respond. Do the readers like that the elephants come and bring them books? Do they not like it? Do they check out the books? What do they do? How do they respond to that coming into their community? So let's look. So my evidence for this is the photograph right here. These people look very happy and excited that they're getting the book. So that's how they're responding. They're excited. The photograph shows excited readers. And our last section of key details is about the country. So we're going to go look at the sidebar here and read again about the country. Just facts about the country. And you can pick 2 or 3 and put it in that box. So Thailand, which means the land of the free, lies in Southeast Asia. The climate varies from season to season, dry in January and February, hot in March and May, wet from June to October, and cool in November and December. The official language of the country is Thai. So we're going to take this, and no, we're not going to write the exact words on our chart. We're going to pick 2 or 3. So I picked that the official language is Thai, and that Thailand means the land of the free. So now we've got 4 very good key details about Thailand and its libraries. But we're going to take all these and put them together and make our one sentence of the main idea. So let's look and see what we have. The library travels to remote villages. The library is an elephant. The readers are very excited. And here's a couple facts about the country. So this is what I came up with. Thai children in remote villages in the jungle receive books by elephants. So I hope you see that I've taken bits and pieces of all the key details to create this main idea. All right, so in this lesson, you learned how children in Australia and Thailand receive books to enjoy. You also practiced identifying key details and main idea of an informational text. All right, I hope you enjoyed this book. See you later.